Mimi nataka next salo ikutane na hii salo ingine, zionane mkia. Ni discipline.
Inaitwa zionane mkia.
Salo ya August ya September ikija kwa hiyo account.
Mazee, episode ya leo ni moto. Najua it sounds like a cliche to start the show like that, but that's the truth. Hii episode ni moto. Fire.
Karen, remember 35 million as plot peke yake, but this 35 million can take you to Karen comfortably. Ask me how.
Hebu kwanza tuambie, in this economy mtu ana unlock aje hiyo 35 million ukuwe nayo?
Let me come to your question. Can 2 million shillings give you 50k a month
in this market? That has been very controversial.
Kwa kalamu
niko rada sana.
Haya, 2 million.
Edwin Khiranga is the CEO and founder of Future Homes, and he believes he has the all-time solution for harsh economic times.
I've never gone from Thursday to Sunday without clients. The tip is very simple. Markets, Kingori.
There's people who understand how markets work. Alafu sasa there is Edwin Khiranga.
Currently, as the Kenyan market is currently, there are the naysayers and there are people with experience and knowledge, right? I am not a firm believer that within the real estate market, there is any saturation. Not in Airbnb, not on the rentals, not on apartments, and I'll explain why.
Edwin Khiranga was a banker for 15 years, na kwa hii episode ni kama kuna kasiri aliachilia by mistake.
I know my developers where they are right now, they're gonna skin me because I've just disclosed our idea on air.
Umesema iko na renting tenant, which could be true, analipa 90k, but it's a distress sale. Which brings me to the question people ask, why are you selling a business that is making money?
I'll tell you why.
Our conversation is happening at Wojo Africa, a premium co-working space in Upper Hill, Nairobi. You're looking for an office for your business. You're looking for a place you can hold your meetings bila hassle ya ku set up a space nini, an office on need basis. You need premium meeting areas, chill base where you can do your work, productivity maximum, bottomless coffee, like anything associated with an office. You need to check out Wojo, especially when you are looking for very competitive rates, classy packages, and very flexible arrangements. In fact, you have a meeting, you want to walk in, they have a package for you. Consider yourself lucky. I'm your host, Dr. Kingori, and here's another reason to stay subscribed to our channel. Kama hauja subscribe, here's a good reason to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notifications bell. Who's buying in this market right now? You have so much to say about that. You acknowledge your market. Now, I believe by the end of this conversation, we're also going to answer a question that imekuwa controversial sana, what you can, as in 50, kama you can get 50k net profit from 2 million. But most importantly, this wasn't part of the plan. But a conversation of how you get employed fast is very interesting.
Dr. Kingori, you see, society dictates that you finish school at the age of 22.
Yes.
Get employed, if you're lucky, by 25.
Yes.
Marry at 30. And, of course, become rich or become wealthy at 40 and retire at 60. 1 out of 10. How many go through that cycle? Very few. You are hitting 50, and that's when you're paying you're paying school fees in the high school and university for your kids. You are literally borrowing loan after loan. You have gone to the SACCO. You have a bank loan, you're trying to look for, if your wife has a chama, you have all those things in together, and then you're wondering, you're about to hit retirement. So I'll say I was lucky, but not lucky. I think I went for it. I got employed just after turning 18. In fact, I didn't even have an ID. I got to know that I need an ID when, after the 1 month training,
yes,
when now you're handing in the HR documents. So how did it happen? I did my KCSE in 2006. Immediately when after high school, you do what? You go do computer classes and then everything else. So I was hanging out with older guys than me. We're doing computers. It's called ICDL. So I'm on Loiter's Twitter, Loiter House. So on the last day of exam, guys are doing CVs. Guys are pampering up their CVs. And I'm like, you know what? Send me a copy. I need to practice my computer skills. Control, find, alt, delete, replace.
Yeah.
So I edited one of their CVs, put in a few of my documents, gave them. Little did I know that these people had already been approached by one prominent bank as graduate trainees. What they were lacking was computer skills. So they had been proposed to go do computer packages. then they come and get employed. So I sneaked my CV in among theirs. There were 6 guys. After high school, remember, I don't even have a phone.
So you create a CV based on how theirs looks like.
Yeah, but they're graduates. I have my Form 4 certificates.
So what are you writing?
Just 2 pages.
Okay.
You just play around with words and come up with a very nice 2 pages. Put some mathematics content certificate. I was a sharp student. Put in my grade certificate in there, and a few excellence performing certificates, so that you have at least 4 or 5 pages. Then it went. Mm-hmm. Now, 3 days later, the HR of this bank is calling these individuals for an interview on Friday to come on Monday for an interview. So the number in this CV is my aunt's number. I was living with my aunt. Mm-hmm. So my aunt is given a few calls, and every time they ask, "Hello, is this Edwin?" she hangs up. You know why? You and I know, back in schools, we used to give our girlfriends our numbers, and you'll tell them specifically, "Nipigie 7:30 time ya news."
Yes.
So that when the folk is watching news, ukiona simu ina beep hivi ndio ndo kwa kwanza kuifikia.
Yes.
Ukiona kama ni yako unashika, kama ni yake unampea. Yes. So my aunt got a couple of calls, and every time they were asking for my name, she could hang up. Until, and I think it was heaven sent, that Friday at 7:30 p.m., this HR from the bank made a call because I think she was under duress. Make sure you reach all these people and they have to report on Monday. Okay. So a phone call came through at 7:30 p.m. When you're watching news, I picked. And it wasn't the usual girlfriend conversation.
Yes.
It was from the bank. This Edwin, God, I'm calling you from this bank. You applied for graduate trainee. The interview is on Monday at 8 a.m. in the morning at our head office. Of course, I hung up without asking too many questions. Started jumping up and down. I'm from high school, no suit, no nothing, jeans. So I told my aunt and my cousin, I need to borrow a load right now. I need to go to I think by then we had Task Nakumat that used to work 24 hours. Mm-hmm. This Nakumat that went down in flames in town. What was the name? Downtown.
No, downtown. Yeah.
Something. So I borrowed for a loan. Give me 5,000. I want to go buy my first suit, my first pair of shoes. Long story short, they laughed at me, but they gave me the money. I bought everything else and I went for the interview. I went in a lot of energy. In fact, I went there at 6:30 a.m. So the big boss came and saw me there, looking so tensed up, called me in just for an icebreaker. Who are you?
Yeah.
What interview are you here for? And I was very tiny, but in fact, I was wearing an oversized suit. Mm. So Kambium said me, I'm just here for an interview. I saw my friends applying and applied for it. So he literally saw my name on the list for graduate training. Have you graduated? No, but I want this job. So he got us some notes. There was another interview happening for sales team. At the time, the bank was mopping up all the graduates in the market to come and sell and market their products.
Yes.
So I ended up being referred to the other side to do sales.
Okay.
And that's how I got my job.
So the initiative was fast going.
I went in knowing that I'm not going home without that job. In fact, I told guys at home, I'm going in and I'll get that job. So me, I went in there 99% guaranteed. Me, I'm going to beg. I'll insist. I need whatever job. Even if you ask me to do the T-boy, to be a sweeper, a cleaner,
yeah.
I know I have a year. There's that year break you have after high school before you go to uni.
Yeah.
I needed something to keep me busy. And that was the opportunity.
So now, how do you transition from the sales team to become a banker for 15 years?
Good. So we had a group of individuals. We call it the entry-level job in the bank. We used to be called DSRs. DSR is direct sales team. Your work is to go out there, convince Kingori to open an account with us, take a loan, probably a credit card. People used to hate that job. And guess what? It was one of my best jobs. It made me who I am today. Mm-hmm. Remember, I prayed for this job. Mm-hmm. After I got the interview was successful, I went home and told my family, I have gotten a job in the bank. I never told them what kind of a job it was, but I've gotten a job in the bank. Contrary to my colleagues, they would tell their folks, niko na kibarua kwa bank, na shikilia. Yes. So we could go to a company, say like Delaroom or Deloitte. Who is your contact person there? You need to talk to the HR to gain access to talk to the employees. So I had friends who would walk around with that we had a famous magical black folder where we used to carry our forms. So I had colleagues who would walk around with 5 copies of CVs with their graduate degrees. So when you go to Deloitte or Coca-Cola or whatever company, you will first of all request for permission to sell the product. If the HR tells you no, we don't have time, we'll drop a CV. Just in case of anything, please call me.
Yeah.
I'm tarmacking. So for them, it was tarmacking. But for me, it was a job. So I went in and the first 4 or 5 months, things clicked very well. And things were working because I could go into a company knowing very well there's not a plan B, neither is it a plan C. It's plan A and plan Z. So if I go to a company to do a presentation, I'm going in with an intention of getting business. I'm not looking for a job. I have a job. And within the first 6-7 months, things were looking up. I was smashing numbers. By the time KU were calling me to do my undergrad, which was a bogus course, by the way, I was making around 100,000 a month worth of commission. Our retainer was about 20,000. But I could go to the bank and have about 80, 90, 100,000. You know, life in campus. That's a lot of money.
Wait. You finish in 2006, right?
Mm-hmm.
Aya, najua school ya 2006 vizuri sana because Govio Boys High School shout out wanajua. So now, you finish in 2006. Now we are talking 2007. You already
2007 September, I'm in the bank.
Okay.
2007. Actually, it was August training, September intake.
Okay.
What happened in at the end of 2007, December, post-election violence, right? So there's those of us who came in numbers close to 1,000 plus. But by December, we had shed off numbers for those who, not everybody is meant for sales. So we were about close to half of us had dropped off. Then come December, we are now making money. We are flying, literally was smashing numbers left and center. In fact, I know December. I remember December I was in Mombasa. I had taken myself for the first holiday. I just need to go rest. Then I come back in January, continue smashing these numbers because I know this thing.
You speak as someone who, in your vocabulary, hii kitu ya maze kumekauka doesn't exist.
It wasn't there. I come from a school of thought whereby there's always an opportunity, and I'll come to that at some point. COVID for me was an eye-opener. There was an opportunity in COVID.
Now, and that's not even then, even now, because where you were in business, even now.
Right now. And this is a training I got back then. So, post-election violence, employers are laying off employees. You can no longer sell bank products. In fact, the bank has made a deliberate decision. We're no longer giving loans to Kenyans. Why? Because it's time for people to be laid off. Where you go? How will you give loans to people who are being laid off? So you need to re-strategize. We're no longer selling loans. We need to get any other product that you can sell.
Okay.
And you're used to this one product. You're a specialist. I used to give out loans. I've been a lender since 18 years. So I could come to your bank. I could come to your workplace. Just all you need to give me a pay slip. And by looking at it, I'll tell you without blinking how much I'll give you to the last penny. All you need to do is just give me document X, Y, Z. Number two, I literally owned the business because I could see myself as being a future CEO in that bank or owning my own bank. So kingori mimi nikakwambia, hii pesa ni kama ni yangu. Nipe hii document, hii na hii, and give me 7 days. I'll give you the money. If you want to help me help you, make sure you give me all these documents and you'll have the money. And 98% of the cases will go through because I understood the processes.
Okay.
Apart from, of course, CRB came in later and all that, right? Okay. So I owned the business. In fact, most of my clients, they could refer their friends to me. And then Edu is the guy. That is the guy who knows. And after post-election in 2008, I was number one in the whole country in product sales. The CEO by then for this bank was one Eden Mohammed. I was rewarded. I got a recognition. And I just joined KU as a first-year student. My parents were telling me to resign so I can focus on the school. Then I come back to work. They'll be taking me in during break. So I lied to my parents. I told them I had resigned until they saw me on TV receiving an award for being the best salesperson in the whole country.
Now, a lot makes sense in terms of your understanding of the market. Now, I believe most people, especially now that everybody is crying watu wanaongelea tough time, so pesa imepotea, and you seem to have something that most people don't know. Before we go to that, please, nipatie tu ruhusa, a few seconds, niambie watu wetu something about our partners who are on this show before 20
Okay.
As a business owner, let me bring to your attention again something very efficient that will astronomically transform your business. This platform in Odoo looks to me like a real game changer when it comes to managing a business. Odoo inapatia business owners a set of over 45 applications designed to facilitate the day-to-day management of a business. Like, picture having everything you need all in one place. Sijui kama unaipata vizuri. Like, you get a smooth, aligned experience as you flow from one application to another naturally. CRM, sales, inventory, invoicing, accounting, project management, HR, website creation, you name it. All connected in one software, inaitwa Odoo. And here's my giveaway for you. Pay special attention. The first application you use on Odoo is free for life na inakuja na unlimited hosting and support. Halafu, you can add more apps as you scale your business with a super affordable monthly ama yearly plan. Make a point this year to improve the quality of your work, simplify processes for your colleagues, and grow your enterprise with Odoo. Tumia hii link tumekuwekea kwa description ya hii video na pia kwa pinned comment to get started with your first app free of charge, na pia you can book a free meeting with an Odoo expert to help you get started. Biashara kwa mtandao, tiki. Kwa sawa, tunaendelea. So now, your knowledge, one of the interesting bits for me is your knowledge of the markets. And I got interested in this conversation because on WhatsApp, I believe, is it every day?
Every day at 6:30 a.m.
I get a message. Yeah, kuna hii nyumba sio Kimau. There is sijui this. Kwanza one yenye nilipay attention ni cars. Kwanza ulianza hiyo message na car lovers. This is for you. Right? Take us through the process. Yeah. First of all, repossession. Where do people make wrong mathematics? Before we go into, for the people going through that right now, process, how do you salvage the situation?
Good. I step back, came in as a lender in the bank, right? Walked through the journey for about 15 years. I found myself in the property market now because most of my clients would buy properties. So I fell in love with properties. So now I'm a full-time realtor. Then I realized the relationship between the bank and the property investor or the realtor at some point breaks off depending on unforeseeable situations or circumstances. That's when recovery comes in. Central bank reports show that post-COVID, Kenya has experienced the worst case of non-performing loans. These are the arrears, defaulters. Actually, the last numbers show that the last reports show we are close to 210 billion owed to banks by us. Tumeshindwa kulipa, your business went down, you lost your job, you're living in that house but praying to God that nobody comes knocking at that door one day because literally you're at the end of it. You're driving that car on the road but hoping that one day, hautasimamisha na probox kumoja uambie toa funguo, because you know very well, I cannot afford to service that particular loan. I saw a report the other day in the government saying that they're going to crap a whip on hustler fund borrowers. Hustler fund borrowers only have 7B. The banks are owed 210 billion, King. And that's the situation. Now, for you to know how well an economy is doing, you look at some of the indicators like the ability to spend, the purchasing power, how well people are servicing their loans in the market. So when you see people struggling to pay up the obligation, that tells you that things are wrong. So, and now where we come in now, Future Homes comes in as intermediary between the bank, the defaulter, and try to mediate. Where it can't work, there is a third party, the recovering officer called the auctioneer. Yeah. So we are the marketer, the in-between. So if we can strike a deal between you, the defaulter, and the bank, and bring you a willing buyer to the table, mkubaliane, you shake hands, everybody goes home happy. My key advice to the defaulters is always, you see, once you lose your business, once you lose your job, and you have a facility, it's like, and it has already hit the default line, you already the default side, yeah? It's like holding on to a hot iron rod that is burning. The longer you hold on, the more you get burned. I'll give you an example. The current interest rate in the market for mortgages is between 18 to 22%, right? Currently. If in the event you have a mortgage of 10 million, and you go into arrears, you'll be servicing two interest rates. The normal interest rate is about 18 to 20%, and then there'll be the penalty on arrears, somewhere around 28%. 28% and
28% of the defaulted amount?
On the defaulted amount. No, on the penalty now is on the defaulted amount. But guess what? That thing multiplies faster than rapid fire. And that's why you realize uliacha loan yako ikiwa na balance ya 1.5 out of employment for 1 year, ukirudi kuendelea, it's almost more than double. And you're like, ilifikaje hapo? So I normally tell my clients, if you know this is a blip, you'll recover very fast, then that's okay. But if you're holding on and you have no solution in sight, let's discuss an exit route. The earlier you exit, the better. Thank God, the new Consumer Protection Act safeguards you, the borrower. So let me give you some math here, Kinori.
Okay.
You own a property at 10 million.
Yes.
While in employment, right? You serviced for about 3 years or 4 years. Your balance is 7 million. You lose everything. All of a sudden, God forbid you lose everything. You can no longer service that facility. 3-4 years down the line, let's make an assumption. The property you bought at 10 million has now appreciated to about 14 million. So your property is worth 14 million. You owe the bank 7 million. But you can no longer continue servicing the mortgage. What do? This is why I normally say, take that as an investment. Sell it, pay off, get a good price, pay off the 7 million, get another 3, 4, 5 million, start off somewhere. Are you getting it?
Yes. The question is, the market right now, yenye kila mtu analia hakuna pesa. What's your guarantee that the value of this property at 14 million utaipata?
Hautapata 14. I won't kid you. You'll not sell at market value. It's a depressed market. Everybody, a bigger number of the property owners are in distress.
Oh, nimekupata. The value of your property 14. Wewe uko na deni ya 7. You can say
take 10. Take 10 and walk. Take 10 off auction and walk. And remember, there's another aspect you're not factoring in. So I have these 10 billion borrowers, right? The NPL, non-performing loans, who are in distress. And then you have a new friend called the Chinese market who just flooded the market. We'll talk about demand, supply at some point. So the properties are very cheap, affordable. Nobody who knew you get a property in Kilimani at 5 million, a studio. Nobody could have imagined, right?
Yes.
But they are. Yes. So as a buyer, they are buyers right now. They are buyers in the market with money and they're ready to buy. The question is, convince me to buy you as a 10 million and not go to Kilimani, Lavington, Kleleshwa, and buy a 3-bedroom at 10 million, which is new. So it's a clear case of competing needs. Few buyers and a big market. That is what you do on a daily basis.
So even if you sell it for 9, you have not lost anything. And this should be done immediately.
You should do that immediately so that you don't benefit the bank. Because the moment you let the arrears run for the first year into the second year, you lose that 3 million leverage. Because remember the 28% penalty? If you hold on for 2-3 years, then that 3 million, which would have been your leverage, goes directly into penalties. And that's now when you call in an auctioneer because you don't see the need to sell. Why should I sell at 10? Then the bank recovers 7 as the balance and 3 million as in the penalty, interest. So I normally tell clients, if you know very well you're stuck, and we know, remember, the life is not a straight path. There comes a time as a man of the house where you have to sit your wife down, sit your kids down and tell them, listen, mama, things are thick. We might have to downgrade. Your kids who are in this nice private school, tell them, you know what? Things are thick. We might have to reset. When you get to that point, the problem with most of us, they normally say men are always, I will figure it out, right? And that's why some of us get into depression. I've been there, Kinori, and I told my family, you know what? Things are thick. COVID, I opened a company. Immediately COVID came in. I shut it down completely. I went back home to reset. And I told my guys, don't ask me for money for trips, doing and everything else. I'm on factory reset. Things are thick. I need to think. Msinipe pressure so easy. Everybody encounters that.
Hata wewe mwenye umestudy market and you know the ins and outs.
2021 come exactly. I had opened my first company after leaving employment in 2020. I hired about 20 people. My wage bill was about 350,000 off my savings. Immediately I went into the market. We were selling land. Konza City, Nakuru, and Nanyuki. COVID came in and everything was shut down. So you're paying people rent. They're coming to the office with masks. They're sitting there the whole day. They can't go to Nakuru. They can't go to Konza. They can't go to Nanyuki. So 3 months down, I told them, like, hey, listen, we have to call it quits. Let's go pray and hope that the thing ends to Rudi Kazi. Is it our end? No. In the meantime, I'm still paying rent for the office. Niko home. Savings zangu zimeisha. I had told myself after leaving employment, I'm not going back into employment. I think I've had my chapter in employment. It's time to move on. Bro, when things get thick, mortgage zako zinakujiwa, I had to think out of the box. I went back into employment straight without thinking what my friends will say, what my former employees will say, because I have employees who are waiting for their boss. COVID isha kesho tuanze kazi. COVID imeisha. We're in 2022. I had to make a few phone calls. 1, 2, 3, 4 calls. Kambia kuja kazi ndio hii. That's now when I found myself in the previous bank, the one I resigned last year.
So now the question becomes, the people who win in tough times are the people who know when to let go the hot iron rod.
Wisdom saying that you need to know when to let go. Otherwise, things take. Right now, I challenge you, buy a newspaper, a Tuesday or a Thursday newspaper. Immediate obituaries. The next pages are auctioneers.
Okay.
Cars, houses. It's terrible.
You have data on who is buying in Kenya.
Yes.
The question is, we had a debate with my friend. I talk about him on this show a lot, to Harrison Mareka. Harry does not believe that the data inasema less than 80,000 people in Kenya earn 100,000 per month.
Less than 80,000?
Yes.
I'll challenge that.
How so?
You know what?
Yes.
I want to give a scenario based on the market, the industry that I operate in.
Yes.
You look, do you see this Kilimani, traditional Lavington?
Yes.
Every given month, there's a new product breaking ground. There's a new house, property breaking ground. You know what happens? The Kilimani market is not a mortgage market. It's a cash transaction, purely cash transaction. Because our current mortgage product does not support off-plan Kingori. Hawezi enda hapa Kilimani saizi upate product mpya inajengwa, uambie Mchina, let me give you 10% nishikilie. When you finish construction in 2 years, give me the title deed, my bank will fund me. They don't take that. They want you to put up 10%, 20% deposit and then get into a payment plan. And guess what? I want to challenge you after this show. Kinaruma Road starts at Upper Coptic Hospital and end up all the way back at Chania Avenue. I think it's one of the busiest with new projects coming up. I want you to go there. There are 3 categories of properties with meet. Kuna ile groundbreaking, kuna midway, probably 12 months to completion, 8-12 months to completion, na kuna zile ziko ready. Ile people are moving in. Cube movers wameanza kuingia. Go and find a property that is ready with cube movers, walk into their office and request that you want to buy a house. And if you get one, I'll reward you.
Wamemaliza.
They are usually sold off probably 8 months, 6 months before completion.
But someone would argue that there is a small clique of people who have the money, who have the access, who can be continuously buying.
I beg to differ. We have a pool of investors who have understood the time and the meaning of the current situation and they're taking advantage. But again, so we have diaspora, then there is local. And Kingoda, I'll tell you for a fact, I interact, this is what I do from Monday to Sunday.
Yes.
If you were to draw a picture of who is buying a property worth 15 million today in Kilimani, you might get it wrong. You'll think these are the business gurus, the people we see living flamboyant lifestyles, driving big cars. There is that quiet, polite person who doesn't look like the money they have and they understand the money language. They will just want to know which one has the best price right now. Give an example. We're talking about investors. I have a lady, I will not mention her name, she doesn't like being mentioned on the show. She has been a landlord in Nairobi in the how do you call it? The low market, right? The mass market. Akona flats Kitengela, Rongai, Kasarani. Those flats of 300,000 a month, 400,000 a month and all that. So she realized there's a new cuts in this new market. So she wanted to invest in there. So she told me, I'm going to give you one of my flats in Rongai. Gives me about 350,000 every month. Find a seller. Then when you get the money, let's sit down and dissect this Kilimani market. Said good. The price was good enough. She sold. We normally do, there's a straight line calculation we do. If your property is giving you 350K, the best, lowest competitive price you'll get is 35 million, 1% rule. If your property is giving you 500,000, they'll sell it at 50K. If it's giving you 15,000, hata kama ni bed sitters 10 zinakupea 15K, utakuzia 15 million. And that's the numbers. So we sold a property that was bringing in 350,000 at 35 million. The money is there. And of course, there's another new list of landlords. Nikiwa KU, my first landlord alikuwa Mkikuyu. The second one pia. And even the third one. For whichever reason, those are our landlords. But now there's a new crop coming up. Over here, they're buying off, renovating. Followed by number 2, our good friends in Minnesota. Our Kisi friends in the diaspora. They understand the language. They are the new breed of landlords. So you have 35 million in the account. Edwin, what do you do with this money? Let's pick a project that is coming up. We know the history of the developer, their quality of work and workmanship to invest. So we've got a property up at Lavington coming up, nice 2-3 bedroom. 2 bedroom was going for 15 million. But because it's in December, there was an end of year sale. They're doing a 12.5. But you must put in at least 50% deposit upfront, and after your 50% umalizia for the next remaining 8 months while they complete. So I told this guy, let's go do a month. Tuchukue nyumba 4. It's 12.5. What was the initial market rate? 15 million. So tayari got a discount. But now, we are picking 4 of them. We're going to pay you 50% for 4 units. Ataki 12.5 to pay another discount. Nakasema sawa. Are you giving me 50% for all of them? Yes. You were given at 11 million for 4 units. So basically, we've saved 4 million off the market as a discount for 4 units. 50% each. Then you agree we'll pay the other amount installment for the next 8 months. On the 4th month, just before completion, the project has already gone back to 15 million and it is sold out. So we are handing over later on June, July. There's nothing left to sell. Property already. This madam has cleared her balance for the 4 units. She has 4 units bought at 44 million. If you work with the current market value of 15 million, that is like 60. She's used 44, where she would have spent 60. So tayari asha save 16 million zake. Now comes in Edwin, Kingori, and David. These are the hardworking Kenyans who have a good pay slip and the employer can give them a good mortgage or their bank can give them a good mortgage. So they want to buy. So now we are targeting those ones because I have a property that is ready and I have the title deed. You can't buy from the developer. We only wholesale and channel or some retailer. I will sell to you with your mortgage. How much do you want? The last unit was sold at 15 million. The moment we move to the second phase where the mortgages can come in, the price has gone up. It's 17, 18. Give me 16. Ndachukua. Sawa. Kanaya, nyumba iko sawa. Title iko ready. Go to your bank, do your calculations, everything else. We sold 2 units, each at 16 million. She made 32 million. Remember, how much do you buy the 4 units? 44. We are selling 2 units now for the mortgage people at 36, 16, 32 million. 32. So basically, hapa ni kama kona hizo nyumba mbili ni kama moja ni ya bure. Okay. Now we have those kind of investors. So they'll keep on rolling to the next project. They come in earlier, they know when to exit. They come in earlier, they know exactly when to exit.
So this person comes from 350,000 per month on these rentals, but then ameenda kwa ataki your long term.
They are flipping. They are flipping.
But even if they were to get rent on these 4 units, it will still be more than they were getting on the flats.
No. Now for rental, it's different. The rental for the up market is a bit compressed. You know why? 350 huko ni hiyo flat mzima iko na bed sitters na studios, sitters ukiwa ni studios huko, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and there are multiple of them. 350 could be the house rent for 1 house in Karen. I remember telling you, when it comes to property, define the objective. Are you buying your lifestyle or are you buying an investment? Nikupeleke pole pole, si ndio? Saizi uko na 35 million in cash. Umezipata saizi hapa. And you've always wanted your family to live in Karen, right?
Tupatie example na mass.
Ndio hii hapa. Mass market nataka nikompe zote mbili.
Okay.
Uko na 35 million, uko na 35 no. Let's say you have 35 million cash saizi kwa mfuko. You've always wanted your family to live in a nice place. You'll be tempted to buy a house worth 35 million and have your family live there. The 35 million nyumba iko wapi? You'll get one of the premium apartments in Kilimani. If you go outskirt, utapata standalone. Thika Road unaweza pata standalone at 35 million. But listen, This 35 million can take you to Karen. Karen, remember, 35 million as plot peke yake. But this 35 million can take you to Karen comfortably. Ask me how.
How?
So let's go to mass market where the demand is. We are a pyramid. Hapo chini ndio kuna wase wengi, si ndio? Twende Kitengela, twende Syokimau, twende Ruaka, twende hapa Ngumba. Buy a flat of 35 million. Sinakumbuka ile 35 million ingiza ngapi? 350 per month. Si ndio? Buy a flat, wewe ni landlord. Make sure those zako zinaingia. And the good thing about this mass market flats, the rentability is high. You will never go below 90%. Remember even during COVID, when people are moving out, hizi nyumba za 10k, 5k, 8k, ni watoto wawili, mtu anahama mwingine anaingia.
Niliambiwa ilikuwa ni ngumu juu kuna wasi wanatoka hapa kwa 30 wanaingia hapa kwa 10. So hapa wanacheza mid.
It's like a pendulum. It swings.
Yes.
So no. You get that the 35 million, nipatie tuenda Parongai nikupatie flat. Itakupa 350. Sindio? 350 ni rent. Come with me. Let's cross over, go to Karen. Remember 35 million hapa Kilimani ni apartment. Forget about apartment. Tutaka place familia itaishi. Tuingie Karen. Tafuta nyumba mzuri ya 350 on half an acre. Nyumba mzuri 4 bedroom, 5 bedroom, all en suite. Jacuzzi, master, nini kila kitu iko sawa. And your space.
Na una pressure.
35,000 or 350 per month. Your neighbor on the left and on the right, yeye alinunua hiyo nyumba. Guess alinunua how much? Yeye alinunua 75 million. Ako na mortgage, ana service na 520 ama 550 kila mwezi. Wewe unalipa 350. Now kwani asubuhi will they come and ask you, "Hi neighbor, do you own the house?" It's not like a number plate. Show me your logbook, me on the title deed yako. No. You and I both same WhatsApp group. We live in Karen. It doesn't matter whether I'm paying rent. The only thing is you own a property, you have a title deed. I also own mine. It's just that mine is in Rongai.
Edu, story na wewe ni confusing. But tunaenda kufuata polepole.
Sitaki upote.
Sawa. Nataka kuna kitu nimeshikilia mahali mental note. Yeah, there are people who understand the current situation. So before you tell us about the people who understand the current situation, what's the current situation? Hebu kwanza tuambie, in this economy, mtu ana unlock aje hiyo 35 million. Ukuwe nayo 35 million. Alafu pia utuambie what are the options kwa ule msee anaweza cheza ku afford between 5 to 15 million.
5 to 15 million. First of all, where do you get a 35 million in bulk? It's a very interesting question. Unless you've invested in the past, there are people who are exiting some of their previous investments.
Okay.
I was in money market. I was in the stock market. But I'm selling more properties. Some of us are lucky. Those who are lucky enough, who are inheritance in Nairobi. So your parent, and I've seen a lot of those cases. There's a parents passed on. The lawyer has taken over the wealth or the estate of the family. They need to distribute. These are people who walk away with 40 mic, 50 mic, 60 mic here and there. Question is, do they have this information? Do they know how to unlock wealth? So if that is you, that's the person I'm talking to. Do you know how you can create wealth and multiply from whatever you have? Remember, they say you can work hard to earn money. Then, of course, use discipline to keep the money. But it takes wisdom to multiply. So, umepata your 350, either inheritance, you've sold off something, you've done a tender. If tender still exists, na sasa Kenya kuna pesa. Even local tenderpreneurs saizi wanalia, hawana pesa. So, but for whichever reason, you find yourself with 20 million, 15 million, forget about 35, even 10 million. Question is, what is your priority? Because that 10 million Kingori would mean, mi nataka watu wangu ishi Kilimani. Kuja, sawa. I'll give you a 2-bedroom house in Kilimani, Kindaruma Road, at 10 million. But if you're wise, snap it, and you want to listen to me, ndakwambia hii 10 million, wenda hapa Great Wall Gardens, hapa, Mombasa Road. 3-bedroom ni 3.5. Cash money. We take 3 of them, and I've done that. So the house I live in, I'm a realtor, but the house I live in, I'm a rent, but I'm a landlord. So I've chosen to rent my lifestyle, but I've invested in the mass market. In the picture. Enda Mombasa Road hapa, take 3 houses. Go to Rongai hapa, kuna property very cheap. I think you've been seeing me send them here on your text message. 4 million, 3.5. Chukua 3 na hiyo 10 million yako. Rent them out. You'll get 30K each. 30K each is 100K. 100K as a rental income. Ukienda kurent nyumba saizi, go to all property listing companies. 100K will give you a very nice, comfortable apartment in the upmarket. Okay. So don't run to go and buy the upmarket. a clear case of, I sell the upmarket, literally. I'm supposed to be promoting the upmarket. That is my bread and butter. So I have people who buy bread upmarket. But when you come to me, the first thing I understand is, what is your objective? Do you want a lifestyle or an investment? Properties are always investments.
Okay.
The people I follow online, they keep giving talks, and they'll be told, never buy a home, rent a home. It's cheaper to rent. Buy investments. If it can give me money, good enough. If it can pay its own mortgage, good enough.
People who understand the current situation, who are these people? And what is the current situation?
I mentioned earlier that every situation comes with its fortunes and misfortunes, right?
Yes.
That non-performing loan books I spoke about, the 10 to 10 billion, is as a result, most of it as a result of post-COVID and probably the effects of post-COVID. We have the election that came in immediately soon after. Then we have whatever is happening in the economy right now. We don't have enough money in circulation, right? But in the same measure, there is this individual who seized an opportunity and discovered, you know what? I can still make money during this particular period. So we have people who've actually broken barriers following during these hard times. And a lot of them actually, you should probably create a segment where you bring in the chain breakers or the dream line, or whatever it is you call it. People who've made it post-COVID or during these hard times. They're people with money. And they'll check our shout. They'll just go about the business. Pole too. And they're running the things. They can invest. They can manage to invest in here. They'll go into money markets. They'll buy a few properties here and there. And that's why an indicator, I told you, the Kilimani market is a cash market. It's not a mortgage market. Kila property kimalizika hivi, it's fully sold out. It's not being bought by one or two people. There's a number of Kenyans who are investing in there, and they know each other. And they'll move from property A, they'll move into property B, into property C. A week ago, we launched a property directly opposite GTC, Upper Marriott. Premium one. They are doing groundbreaking. At a plan yake, the model is not on site. It's in the other office. 60% sold out. People are fighting for, I want 15th floor, I want 20th floor, I want that. People are signing up. So, as much as hakuna pesa, as an economy, there are people who are doing very well. I was at a particular talk the other day. Kenya, if you look at our pyramid, we have the mass market down here. There's a lot of us. There's the middle income level, and then there is the high income earners.
Yeah.
During the Kibaki time, this pyramid almost fattened at the middle because most of us could afford a lifestyle. Yeah. Most of us were graduating from the mass market into the middle income bracket, and a few graduate from the middle income bracket to join the elite, right? What is happening right now? The middle box is shrinking. Kingori, you can't look at me and tell me today, I'm a middle income earner. Tell me, if you're a business person, if you're an entrepreneur, you're struggling just to make sure your employees have the next paycheck and the rent and other recurrent expenditures are paid. And for all business people out there, if you've got for the past 10 months, hujachalesha mshahara employees wako, hujaongelesha landlord kando, you're doing a good job. Keep hanging on. You're doing a good job.
For the past 10 months.
From January to now, this is October, right? You've not delayed your employee. You have 20 employees, 30 employees. You've got for the past 10 months, you've not delayed their salary. You've not paid the salary from your pocket. You've not delayed your rent. The business has sustained itself that far. Keep holding on. Lose hope. You're doing well. And for friends in employment, for the past 10 months, God forbid, payslip is achelewa because they say we are the middle level. What was about middle income earners are just one payslip away from poverty. One payslip away from calling your landlord umwambie, baze leo kimeumana, turane next month. One payslip away from calling your schools, your kids' school, uambie baza, kunoma. So if that one payslip away hasn't happened to you yet, keep holding on, but try and see if you can create other revenues of income, because that one payslip might soon happen. God forbid, if it does, you don't want to have those conversations. And there's some conversations that you don't really want to have.
Yeah. And there's a level you unlock there's a level you unlock that you don't have to worry about
freedom. Kingori, I've been in employment for 15 years. From a direct salesperson, my last role, I was the country head of property and mortgages. With a good pay package, I had a very good package, but I had to make a painful decision last year as to whether I wanted to be in a comfort zone, because of course the economy is not doing very well. But I have a burning idea. Remember, I tried during COVID Ikachomeka, but this thing cannot wait. I need to go in. Future homes need to start right now. So I had to wake up one day out of my comfort and say, let me try it. It wasn't easy, by the way. It was hard. People expect umsa in CEO. Your business card read CEO. Umsa kon employee. Umsa kon do. Yet you're still trying to balance it with your current savings as you move to the next thing. But once you get out there, then you learn the art of multiplication. Who told you, Ngori, that when you own a business, you can only be a CEO of one company?
Okay.
So I'm a realtor. Mm-hmm. So I go out there while discussing with my clients. I realize a client who has a very brilliant idea in tech, but they're struggling to market it. And I'm like, hold on. I can do this. Just teach me about this thing. Who are your target market again? Mm-hmm. So and so and so and so. This type of people, good. So every meeting that I go to, I have like 3 products in my pocket. I'm coming to you with the real estate, which is my core, but I have a tech product that I know, I've understood it. And if I realize you're a consumer, tutamaliza property kwa utanunua, mimi hoka, nimekuja na socks, ujanunua sawa, kakando, niko na handkerchief, unaoma. Problem is, sometimes we close ourselves in a box, unafikiria tu ni hii. That's wrong. I have a conversation with my salespeople. I have a team, a very aggressive team of property salespeople, but I normally tell them, number one, own the business. Mimi kiwa siko business yenu. Run this shop as if you're running yours, because tomorrow you'll open yours. Number 2, don't be afraid. Go out there with that open mind. Ukienda upate mse, we sell properties. We don't do rentals. But if you get someone who wants rental, would you walk away? Equip yourself with some information for rentals. Ukienda kule ndio kipata mse, and that's your bonus. Sina shida na hiyo, as long as KPI zangu ziko sawa.
But sasa na wale wase wanasemanga specialization inasaidia sana because you become a master of something.
I did that for the 15 years I was in employment. Remember, I've been a master of lending. I've been a master banker into properties. But there comes a time when you need to break the barrier. Do you know why? Our current economy, things are changing so fast that you might find yourself in extinction by sticking to your masterpiece. Let me say this. Nimekuwa banker for all those years. Of course, tukiingia kwa properties. Seated in a meeting somewhere with a few friends, I listen a lot. Para jamaa wanaongea stories of tech. And they're saying, the next dollar millionaires will be tech people, where you can make money from your sleep. And I'm like, simniambia pia mimi nijue. So you have a conversation around this, and you're like, okay, sawa, this thing makes sense. So I'm still specializing, and one day probably I'll come, there's something I'm working on. The Airbnb space. You told me I'll give you some numbers about Airbnb shortly. The Airbnb space is waiting to explode. And you know why? The Uber revolution came and drove the yellow line out of the business. True, right? Yellow line cabs. Then sukuma inje. So you're either doing the app or uko inje. Sindio? Has that happened to Airbnb? We say we are doing Airbnb. Na book Airbnb saa hizi, lakini si Airbnb. Si book na app. Mimi naenda kwa WhatsApp, niulize jamaa nataka nyumba Kilimani, nitumiwe picha, niende nione nilipie. Si ndio? We are operating yellow line cabs, assuming it's okay. That is how Airbnb is. We've not embraced the tech on Airbnb. Airbnb is cashless. Airbnb is system based. Unaingia, unachagua, unalipa. So the normal Airbnb is card system, right?
Yes.
Kenyans not M-Pesa ama cash.
Yes.
So within the tech spirit, nikioko hiyo space tech nikarealize kuna hapa kwa real estate pia kuna gap. So there's something we've worked on, we've cooked, soon to be launched, and it's among the few technological changes that are coming up.
Tell us that thing you're not saying. Tell us that thing you're not saying.
Kingori, utaenda saizi, I'm an Airbnb, I'm a host. Tiangalia properties zangu na kutumianga kila Friday.
Sawa.
I send you my properties. Yeah?
Sawa.
Book your property in Kilimani today for as low as 3,500. Sindio?
That's fine.
Sasa there's a client ataingia club, anaishi Thika, our club Nairobi, atoke club 3 am, arealize hizi hata Thika namelewa, anataka kupigia juu ndio plug wake, umpatie nyumba. Sometimes you've muted the phone, utashika. Missed opportunity. Who client and miss products. Ndio. In a few days from today, you will go to your app, a local based app, uchague hiyo nyumba. Ni kama Uber, unaingia hivi kama ni hapa penye tuko, ukiingia online inakuonesha tu nyumba kadhaa. Tuko 25357 unachagua. Unaangalia picha, una select. Immediately unapata prompt M-Pesa. Kama ni 3K, prompt M-Pesa. As long as there's money in M-Pesa, prompt pap. Ukilipa inakutumia text.
That's fine. Na hiyo BNB yenye umesema, Naivasha ilikuwa kama time ya rally. Watu wako wana place ya kulala. And I'm told of a certain investor, ama mi na best yangu, Dr. Ken Alura, tuliko kwanza na idea solid sana ya kutengeneza unique ya BNB spaces. I quit because tuliambiwa towards the end. I called a friend of mine, uzuri after kuban a few times in business. I called a friend of mine naitwa Richard. He works as in he's my plug, Nitakudos Naivasha. So Richard tells me of a person who came, akatengeneza flat mzima, akafurnish zote, and then there's no money. Like the market is saturated. Wewe unatoa pikariji ya kuendelea kuinvest.
Kingori, in any market, currently as the Kenyan market is currently, there are the naysayers and there are people with experience and knowledge, right? I am not a firm believer that within the real estate market, there is any saturation. Not in Airbnb, not on the rentals, not on apartments. And I'll explain why. It all boils down to one thing. Marketing. The game is won on marketing. I have clients who bought apartments early in the year. Is in a studio. You can never find a studio being sold, a ready studio being sold size in Kilimani, unless they resell. Msa ameongeza bei anauza. But mpya tizimejengwa 300 studios nauzwa. They are always bought off plan. Now, the clients who came in, bought multiple of them, wakamaliza kulipa, wakazichukua, wakazifurnish, wakaanza Airbnb. What is the approach? Patia askari ufunguo, patia kiateka ufunguo, Kingori atakuja akiuliza, atapewa, akutumia pesa kwa M-Pesa. Who lied to you? How many people are in the same space? Na hapo ndio ofisi yao. Those guys don't leave the guard desk, wanakanga hapo kwa guard Monday to Sunday ukingoja clients, na wako na clients wao tayari washapata. So you end up being a wholesaler kwa sababu huko hapo. So mimi mwenye niko kwa ground niko na zangu 4, nitazipeana by Thursday, zishachukuliwa. Utabook mpaka Sunday. Then mimi mwenye niko hapo, mimi nakuwa sasa broker. Hawa clients wakikuja, simi zangu hakuna, mimi nacho Kingori hakuna zake na amelala. Nitakupigia niaje Kingori? Kuna client wangu hapa anataka nyumba 3 siku 2. So we have our resellers price, which is close to 50% of the market price. Kama studio ni 4,000, mimi nakuambia nakutumia 2K. Otherwise inalala bure. Huko kwa 2K. Unaona? Wakaambia sawa, nitumie hiyo 2K. Client anabook na mimi. Hajui Kingori, hajui nyumba ni ya Kingori. Haina namba ya Kingori mali, anabook na mimi 4K. Nampatia. Every house has, nowadays we do tech, it's self login. Unakupa hizo login, unaenda, mimi nakutumia 2K. So badala nikitumia 2K unatumia hizo logins. Na forward client wangu yeye anaingia, kuna wifi password, logins, anaingia na akienda anajua nyumba ni ya nani? Ni Edu. Akitaka kurudi next time anapigia nani? Edu. Wewe umezidi kulala, unasema tu Airbnb yangu siku moja itajipa. Then after 6 months you decide hapana, this thing isn't working. You decide to sell off everything. Who has been eating off your investment? See Edu, Edu is on the ground. He is on the ground. He is marketing what he's getting.
Yeah, that's one version of the story.
That's why people are saying Airbnb isn't working, just like the Uber the Uber mayhem. People came in all at once and started exiting.
Are you saying that, okay, two things. There's that's one version of the story. Kuna watu by the way wanasema hakuna customers kabisa. Kuna watu wanasema ile hata ukimarket bado wasea wakuji vile walikuwa wanakuja. You understand? Are you saying there are people who are still making money?
I have never gone for a weekend. Leo ni Thursday. In fact, there are people who need to check in. I've never gone from Thursday to Sunday without clients. The tip is very simple. Markets, Kingori. And this is what you call consistency. You receive a text from me every day at 6 a.m. Sometimes whether I'm sick or not, consistency. I will do that because I know that is what butters my bread. That's one of the key things I do. So I only have 4 units, the Airbnb. I have 15,000 contacts who receive that text message every morning. It's a WhatsApp. So it has like a nice video and a message. Sasa mnaniambia nikituma hiyo message kwa to 15,000, surely watakosa kurefer. So more than often, I get overbooked. So I resell. In fact, I'm trying to gather some funds. I buy out other people who are struggling in the market. Let me come to your question. Can 2 million shillings give you 50K a month?
In this market. That has been very controversial. Niko rada sana.
Aya, 2 million.
Yes.
The best demand, people come in and the best demand for Airbnb is studios. Hazina mambo mingi, studio. Na ununui unazirent. Rent Kilimani studio ni 40K.
Okay.
Sawa. Rent 4 of them, you ni on 60K. Sindio?
Okay.
A good interior designer mwenye nakupigia basic but unique design. Studio so lazima weke vitu mingi. Ni screen, klanda poa, bedding city. You'll use a 350K to do the furnishing of each studio. 4 of them, you probably have used how much?
1.4 million.
1.4 million. Sindio? Aya. But you're going to change from the 2 million. In fact, you can even go ahead.
So you're going to 1.56.
1.56. Out of 2 million, you still have 4.4. So we have 440. Sindio? Go ahead and even put the digital locking kila kido. Hata landlord wako pia mtupe mbele kidogo. Mlipe another extra 1 month rent asikusumbue. Sindio?
Okay.
Now, the average going price of a studio in Kilimani per night is about 4K, but utarudisha 3,500. Ndio usicompete sana, sindio? You need at least 20 good days in a month. But, there's a but. When you're a giant in marketing, uko na social media pages zako, ukiamka asubuhi, umeload kadi, unazisponsor. Unaona? Ukienda Instagram, you have a sponsored ad. Facebook, you have a sponsored ad. WhatsApp yako 15,000, 20,000 messages going out. You cannot fail to fill 4 units at least 20 days in a month. Now, let's do a math. You are doing 350 for 20 days. How much is that?
To 80K.
To 80K. Aya. Rent unalipa how much?
160.
160. Inakwata na how much?
Okay.
120. Hiyo 20 ya juu.
20.
Uko na msichana wa kufua. Uko na washing machine hapo. Anazichukua. Now, if they are all together, because mine are all together. So the washing machine is only in one house.
So in a central place. 20K.
Hiyo 20K pati ule msichana wa kuosha.
So umebaki na 100.
100. Nyinyi mko metoka 50.
Saa hii ni 100K. This is assuming you don't pay any taxes, number one.
The rent. Where? Rupert, we will come there. By the way, no. When you regulate the market, I've just mentioned about an app that is coming up where we'll bring all the hosts together. The market is vibrant. Now we can talk about the digital tax because this is digital. Right now, people don't pay tax.
No, that's fine. So, unaona kwa hii 100K, haujahesabu how aggressive umekuwa na marketing na how much you're paying kwa nini sijui ni
Deka 25,000 hapo.
So the market 75. 75K.
Yeah.
Na hii ni 2 million. Na hii ni master wa business. Hii ni 75,000, sindio? Na hii ni assuming all factors remain constant. Na hii ni assuming umejaza 20 days. Right? You see how close this is tethering to the margin?
I know it's close. It's very close. However, let's also put in a consideration. This is on the low market. October, November, December, and peak. This is when our friends from diaspora are coming in and they're booking that thing for the entire 30 days. They're booking it for the entire 2 months. So basically, it's a bumper harvest. 3 months of bumper harvest. So that hizo miezi zingine una spread.
Our next episode ni boys moja mnoma, tech bro, anaitwa Stormzy. Stormzy alitudemonstratea kitu fulani ya return on investment. Hata kwa stock market yenyewe. From 1900 to date. Uruke juu urudi chini. On average, annual return inachezeanga 10. Hata muruke 20. 10%. Hata muruke juu mwende 20%.
There's a margin. There's a margin.
Ni 10% return on investment. Hesabu ya engineer Evans Kimori, 50K kwa 2 million ni annual return on investment ya 30%. 30%. Do you see how close to possible this is? Kwa sababu tukienda tukiuma hii hesabu, tutaenda below 50.
Like when things go to the extreme.
Sasa hata si extreme. Hii hata ni licenses peke yake. Hii unajua nyinyi sasa umetupatia hesabu ya kiwanja. Licenses peke yake za kuoperate zimekutoa nje. In fact, I think na hii kitu imekuwa philosophical sana. Like the government has not made the business environment friendly kusupport. If you go by the book, hauoni 50.
No, let me tell you. And this, I have a different school of thought. And that, for me, it has had me all the way from when I got into employment. Yeah? The government, this monster called the government, has a role to play to entice local investors and foreign investors. Question is, what happens when they don't? Then that's where you come in, Kingori. There's always something you can do. This is one of the examples. When things happened during COVID and I almost lost everything, that's the time now you go back to school in your own bedroom and you start thinking about each and everything. My kids go to a school called Riara. And school fees is one of the most expensive thing right now. Not only just school fees. Unalipa school fees 100K, alafu unalipa 40K school transport. Then I realize my kids are very social beings. Kwa estate peke yake, wana marafiki 20, 30. They either go to the same school or neighboring schools. You know how much a van costs in Nissan Caravan? If you have 1.7 million, you have a very nice Caravan. You got yellow line, license, pay the rate. That school that charges 40,000 per student, ambia wazazi, si wanakujua, we ni mzazi mmoja wao, all of you are suffering in the same basket. Me, I want to save you the pain of 40K. Nipeni 30K, niwapeleke watani hapa. Driver ndo gari anapaka hapa mchana yote, asubuhi anachukua na wadrop, anarudi. That caravan will take 10 students. 10 students, each paying 30K, only 300K. Spread that to probably, yoni, na unaweza kuna payback trip mbili, because my driver used to pick the early morning bird, class 7, 8, then goes for the kindergarten, 8, 9. So 2 trips.
Good vibes.
So that is, what I'm trying to say is, there is always, you need, unless you try it, then you can always say, the current economical situation is not conducive to investors. We agree. And things are not going to get any easier, Kingori. Let me tell you, things will get worse. Kila siku kiamka kuna kitu na trend. Kama si Adani na trend, ni shift. Kama si shift na trend, maleo sijui ni Starbucks. Kama si Starbucks na trend, kesho kuna kitu na trend. That is the trend. Question is, bro, tarudi ocha. Me, I told myself and I told my family, I came from Kakamega with one-way ticket.
That's fine.
The only way I'm going to go back is maybe when I'm dead. And if I'm going back, nikwenda kutembea. Sirudi ati yo nimefunga vitu kwa gari naenda. Now, that means you must always be looking around for opportunities. Penye kuna kitu naweza fanya, bro, kimbia nayo. Kama haiwezi, acha sawa. Jaribu tena. Our biggest problem, and I see it with our young people, Kingori, which is very sad. We live as if there's no tomorrow. That's one big mistake. We are friends who live for weekends. Unaingia, unapiga job yako vizuri, hustle Thursday, Friday, bas, piga sherehe Friday, Saturday, Sunday, ukiamka Monday, kahangi kwanza, slow down, Monday blues, una complain. Before you get back into your groove, it is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, before you know it's Friday, bro. You will receive my message on a Saturday. You will receive that property message on Sunday. You will receive it on Mashujaa Day. For me, sina holiday kwa kalenda yangu, bro. Because I know the economy waits for no man. There's a saying I read somewhere. If you're a hunter, wacha tulikuwa tunapiga madush na fair. Bro, sometimes do ichape, unangoja kwanza itue. Do ipime vizuri, sio? Since the birds have learned to fly without patching, then the hunters have to up their game. You must learn to shoot without missing. Ikiwa katikati ya hewa huko, bro, chapa. Don't wait for things to change in the economy so that you break bigger.
Okay. Umesema point poa sana. Na for context, you complemented the concept idea iko na more money than the traditional way of doing things. Okay? Like zile vitu umelan, think outside the box. Kama your example ya basi, it's brilliant. But then I'm investigating the true nature of business kabisa ya consistency, because idea kama hiyo unapata, wow, it's interesting. Na Wakenya vile ufikiria, some of the things you have to think about ni you're living na wazazi wenye wako equally capable. You understand? Equally capable. So ni rahisi mtu replicate. Mwingine anunue van, they live out of business. Number 2, tunaangalia consistency. Shule siku hizi wanasoma kama sahi third term, wanapiga miezi mbili wanafunga, si ndio? So ukiuma unapata chances are you're in business for 2, 3, 4, 6 months in a year. 6 months in a year.
Question is, are they profitable the 6 months? Good. Number 2, and whatever you mentioned, what is the fear that people will replicate? I know my developers where they are right now, they're going to skin me because I've just disclosed our idea on air, which nobody else knows about Airbnb. But I have a belief. Kingori, we have 54 million Kenyans. Hatuwezi tosheleza hiyo demand sisi wote. The only thing you need to prepare yourself for is competition. I've competed for everything in my life. Since your job ya kwanza 18 years huko. You don't go in and expect to be a pushover. Ati watu wakiingia utoke uende. Kama tunatoka sisi wote. And what is it they're doing that I cannot do? That's a simple question.
Banker, 15 years.
Yes.
Banker, 15 years. What's your advice? Banker, 15 years. Sahi, uko kwa business. Yenye uko between defaulters na bank. Sindio? What do you say to borrowers? Expert advice.
Borrow wisely. Pay diligently.
Borrow wisely.
Pay diligently. One of the biggest lessons, and this cuts across board, and that's why the non-performing loans book are there. There are people who go into borrowing without a plan. What's aliona kama naweza pata 10 million? Ring your bank, unaambia niaje, here are my turnovers, tell me how much I can qualify. And because the banks are in the lending business, that's their core. That's where they make their money. They don't make money from you depositing and ATM withdrawals. They make money from loans. They will tell you 10 million. Umeangalia uko na history mzuri, you'll get 10 million for 10 years. And then you're like, okay, sawa, what do you need from me? Remember, you've not even planned or purposed where the money will go. What do you need from me? Bring your statements, blah, blah, blah. And so you start processing the facility without a plan. By the time the money hits your account, remember, they say 1 million shillings, you 10 bob sim, it's no longer 1 million shillings. So when the money comes in, you start looking for a plan with the money in the account. Chances are very high you'll make a wrong choice, a wrong investment choice. Hata kama ni property, I normally tell my clients, let's reverse the clock. Let's first of all do a lot of shopping around. There are clients I put in my car, we go around almost every weekend. Mara 4-5. Ukoshua hii unataka? Ukoshua hii umeipenda? Ama tuangalie ingine. Hii sawa. By the time you're going to talk to your bank, you already know, including the last penny. So ndalipa nyumba how much? Easy. Stamp duty ni how much? Easy. Legal fee ni how much? In fact, you already know whether you'll have to top up whatever the bank is giving you. What many people do wrong is, and we also blame the bank for a minute. Some years back, when the banks were vibrant, and that's why we came in, we were literally hawking these products. We came to you without your knowledge, and bro, nakupa loan. Get a document. For someone who had no idea that they could even qualify, could give you unsecured loans. A few years down the line, things get rocky, and you're like, I don't even remember where the money went. So if borrowing is good, people build businesses with loans. People create empires with loans from borrowing. Literally, the same way the government is borrowing to sustain the running of the company.
Unikumbushe nikurudishe hapo, people are building businesses with
loans. Yes. People are building empires from loans. But borrow wisely, pay diligently. If you don't have that discipline, then don't. Usikaribie loan.
Sometimes you have a plan and a plan fails you. Na tumeshapiga hesabu tukona na wewe na ukweli our next episode coming up, Stormzy ana explain vizuri sana, by the way amefanya ya stock market na kuinvest outside the country. Interest rate kama sahi inachezea huko 20%. Return on investment
10%.
Itachezea 10. See ni zero sum game from the onset.
Now, depends on how you want to define a return on investment. Kingori, when you set up to do this show, you knew very well, I'll buy my equipment at this amount of money. And then by every show, if I was to commercialize it, this is how much I make, right? Now, regardless of where you borrowed the money to buy the equipment or whether you had saved the money to buy the equipment, I don't think it stopped you from pursuing whatever you wanted. If you did your math and realized I'll buy this equipment at 5 million and I'll be paying a loan for this equipment at this interest rate, yet per show, this is the amount of money I'll make, then sometimes I'll call it the shallow thinking of business, and I'll explain why. When I went into Future Homes, the only thing on my mind was success. I knew the market was there. There are people who want to buy distressed properties. I knew banks are struggling. I knew auctioneers on the other side are also struggling. Auctioneers are not marketers. They're not eloquent. They cannot articulatively inform someone about the property they're selling. So I picked, there was a gap. Now, for me, it didn't matter that much of the cost. Of course, you have to have an office, furnish the office and everything else. I knew there has to be a break-even point. But that break-even point depends on the efforts that you put in and the discipline. Otherwise, if we do the stock exchange calculation, the straight line, that I will borrow at 20 to open my business, then my rate of return is only 10. Kwani, hii business yako expand? At some point, hakuna break even, then we will miss the bigger picture.
Tunarudi kwa, kuna constants in mathematics, right? I've realized that there are people, kwanza, this was scary for me, that there are people who live in cycles. Like, una expand, alafu unarudi tena unaanza from scratch. That happened to you a lot, right?
A lot of time.
So unless we all agree that kiukweli mathematics, kuna point ni cycle, either we upgrade. Because kuna mtu, someone told me that they may have switched lifestyle. They look like they're living better. Kwa hiyo middle class, but they are no worse than the poverty they came from. You understand?
In business,
so what changes is the optics.
In business, there's something we used to say, Pareto principle. I think so.
Pareto ni 80-20.
Pareto. How do you call this thing where ukitoka hapa? Okay, when I was earning 25k, fanya kazi CBD,
ni Maslow. I think ni Maslow.
Tulikuwa tunakula kibandaski, mali fulani kotao kibanda huko. Now,
hierarchy of needs.
Hata hiyo, nitakutajua. There's a graph we used to draw. And when your income is 25k,
yes,
this is the kind of lunch you used to eat. This is the restaurant you used to go to. Then you hit a boom, you go to 1 million shillings or 500,000. You go to Hilton or Windsor. Then along the line, things happen. You come to 10k. You will not go back to the kibandaski at 25k. You might find yourself above where you were before the reality. Yet the income you have is even lower than what you used to have. It's harsh reality, but that's happened. However, here in Asebec, I mean, at the end of the day, we are different, and there's the discipline. For me, what I normally say, and I advise most of my friends and even the people I work with, if you don't take risk, Kingori, you want to be in a comfort zone because the risks are there. Nikianza biashara, kutakuwa na flat line. There's a curve of business growth. Ukianza inaanzaga pole, trajectory inapanda, crescendo, inafika pale mwisho, whether you like it or not, you'll always hit the maturity line. And if you do not have an exit plan, or you're not diversified, where you mentioned lazima mtu specialize ukwe master, bro, today, if I realize there's a new product coming to the market and it's gonna sell, I'll go. There's someone who's telling me about something about carbon credit. Sijaisikia vizuri, but from the look of things, it has some sense that I'm yet to crack. So I'm doing my homework on it. The thing is, when this is running, it's working, right? You got a momentum. Don't just focus on the end. Don't leave it. Focus on the goal, but also check around. What else can you tag along? What else can you tag along? And that's why most of the people I look up to in terms of business, and they have really made it, they are not in one business line. People have multiple business lines, Kingori. They even come and buy you out of your show because they know the line they're doing will at some point hit a crescendo, right? So they'll come and check who's struggling, who needs help. They'll come and be angel investors. They do properties. Do you need some investment? Show me the profit margins. Where do we make money? Good. I need shares. They come and buy it. So as much as you're running, don't be afraid that you'll hit a straight line. It's going to come. The only way to prepare is check around you. What else can I plug into? What else can I plug? The problem with most of us Kenyans is we are afraid of taking risks. Unajua mimi ni mse wa Uber, acha tu nifanye Uber yao. Mimi ni mse wa media, let me just focus on my media. Anything else beside the media, staki nitachomeka.
Kuna kitu ulisema, and probably this carries an answer. The art of multiplication. Tell us something about that.
Beginning, we said, you know what? You need to take your effort, your talent, your hard work to make money. And then it will take discipline to keep that money. I'm not just spending I'm not going on a spending spree. I know what to buy and when to buy. Discipline. If you just want to keep it, usiharibu. Ana 100k, mimi nataka next salo, ikuna na hii salo ingine. Zionane mkia. Ni discipline.
Inaitwa zionane
mkia. Salo ya August, ya September ikija kwa hiyo account. You know, the people going withdraw to the last coin, my friend. Okay, problem is we have the apps. The apps is another thing. Wacha kwa ETF wana minimum deposit, minimum withdrawal. Ungebakisha balance fulani, inangojea salo wengine kama mshikane nayo. But uko na app, utabai baka airtime. Ibaki zero. So that when the other salary is coming in, there's nothing. So if it will take discipline to just keep. Remember I said experience, skill set, hard work to make. And the money. It will take discipline to keep it. And some of the discipline are different. That I told my friends every Friday, we used to so I developed like a habit. If I know I'm going to go out and I'll spend 10k, nikitoka job 5 p.m. kabla hizo simu zianze kupigwa zinengengama 6-7. If I love shoes, I'll place an order for 3 pairs of shoes. Moja yangu, mbili ya maboys wangu of 2 sons. 10k imeenda. Naenda kwa nyumba na naeka simu hapo. Kingori, if you want to see me out that Friday, come to me, pick me, and make sure you will buy. Because I'm not buying. Because the same thing, there comes a time when I'm in a mood, I just want to go out and spend. And I need company. Because taki pia nikae peke yangu. And I know Kingori is the guy. I will come, I will pick you. I'll come spend, I'll take you. Because I needed your company. I'm paying for your time. Because I need you there to be with me. So if you need me there, then do that. And discipline. But then it takes wisdom to multiply. Here is the catch. How many Kenyans have gone into businesses where they've easily burned them fingers? I watch news most of the times and my heart shatters. We've been conned enough times as Kenyans now to learn. Every day unasikia sika crypto, sijui kama ni nini, bado properties. I've been in real estate and I've multiplied money for my bosses in real estate. And their mistakes blindly that people or buyers made. And that was then. It shatters my heart that to date, the mistakes that were made then when it comes to property buying are still happening. Kingori, if I was to sell you my car that I parked down here today, you'll go to NTSA and run a quick search, right? See first of all if I own the car and if it has a loan. What if you find out it has a loan? And back? You'll be a fool to believe me. Because if you give me that money and ipige kona, me I won't sort the bank, I'd have transferred my debt to you. Bank itakuja wewe. Now, forget about cars. There were some auctions that were advertised a couple of months ago in a whole estate where people came in, trusted the developer. The nyumba ni affordable, 3, 4, 5 million. They bought and moved in immediately. Wakaambiwa because ni project kubwa, hizi title deed, tunazi process, tutawapea. Baadaye. So they bought in and moved in. Little they know this developer had actually secured a massive bank loan with those blocks. Kuna moja amejenga asset mzima, ameuza zingine, ashapena titles. Hizi block 2-3 hizi amechukua nazo loan ya expand biashara zake, hoping he will sell off, then come clear the bank, then get the titles. So you lived in that house for 3 years, 4 years. Yeah, put a title, but si nyumba ni yangu. See, in fact, may paint, mega kila kitu, in nyumba yangu. Siendi mahali. Hata akinipea your title deed, sintapoteza, chatoka inayo. Until the day you wake up and find that house in the newspaper to be auctioned. And you come crying, but the house is mine, but I bought it, but I paid. The question is, you skipped a very critical stage in your buying. Did you involve a lawyer? Number one. Did they do a due diligence? Because if they did at that time, they would have quickly realized that the title deed had been charged to the bank. And when a good lawyer realizes it's charged to the bank, then it becomes a discussion of 3 parties. You can still buy. I'm not saying that you can't buy a property that's charged to the bank. Actually, they are the best because the bank has done the donkey work for you. After the bank, hakuna mtu mwingine atalay claim. The bank is the final charge. Charge of the property. So mkienda mnaenda na lawyer kwa bank, rolls a bank, run property, and it's charged to you people. How much is the balance? The balance is 2 million. So from the purchase price, you knock off the bank upfront. The bank discharges, give the title to your lawyer, na baki mkisort na huyu seller. Most Kenyans We trust. My training in the bank, there's a quote we used to use a lot. We trust but verify. Do you know Kingori today, if you are to be a banker, na we ni teller, uko hapo Tao Moi Avenue, and your wife comes to withdraw money, and they come to your till, it's demanded, it's required that you'll ask for the ID. And you must verify the signature. Okay, sign Kimadogos, you are not supposed to give the money. Yes, no, this is my wife. I live with her. I didn't know this money. I'm the one who gave her the money. The policy states that trust but verify. They must sign as per the system. They must give you the ID and you must verify. Huyu ni wewe. Na pia kuna picha hapo kwa screen. Trust but verify. Bibi yako. I've had friends who served their parents. Na saa hizo kuna mtu kwa nyuma anaangalianga CCTV. Wakuje tu mpigie story umpatie. And that we're able to prove when doing our background checks that Apple only missed step. You got home. Why did you trust without verifying? Verification is key. So even in property buying, not just property, investments, background checks ni lazima. It pains my heart when you find people being auctioned out of their hard-earned money properties because they missed the step and they will go to courts. But the courts will tell them, the bank is right. You did not do what you want to have done. And there are so many cases.
Bado tuko hapo kwa art of multiplication. So that carries the segment of wisdom.
Yeah.
So, that's the answer.
The answer
is everything.
Just be a risk taker. Be a risk taker for you to multiply.
Yes.
But go back to trust but verify. Because beste yangu anafanya Uber. Yeah. Na ameniambia ana making 120k per month. What happened me ni buy Uber niingie. Number one, you make 120k per month. Verify. Let me see. Right?
Don't invest in the rumors.
Edu amesema ako Airbnb and he is always booked Thursday to Sunday. Find out what makes you get booked. Are you willing to walk the talk? Are you willing to do what I do for you to get booked? Or you just want to go in because you had the biggest problem with Kenya is your best copycats. Tunataka tuingie because msa alisema ina make do. Nataka, this guy is doing this. Let me go in as well. Yeah? They're doing so online sale. They're selling things online and they're making money. Let me go online as well. Take risks. But remember, trust what you see but also verify to ensure that whatever... I have clients who come to me to sell their properties. And because I have a trusted market segment, Kingori, when I send you a property on Monday morning, I'm selling a 3-bedroom house in Kilimani with a ready tenant earning 90,000 shillings per month. It has a distressed sales price of 11 million. I don't just buy the 90k per month because the person who's selling ameniambia ni 90k. Otherwise, you'll come and blame me. So many ambias, give me the details. I have a bigger team in the office. Tutapiga simu ko tuseme tunataka nyumba ya kurent. In fact, we want to rent today. Pigia caretaker. Caretaker ni agents. They also make money from renting out houses. So they tell you, niko nayo, how much? 75,000 per month. Plus service charge, 80k. Okay, so what do I need to fill in it? 2 more documents. I'll get back to you. And I'll come and tell you, the house you gave me, you misrepresented the facts. So I'm not selling it. I need all information, black and white.
Which is again a paradox. Umesema iko na rent tenant, which could be true, analipa 90k, but it's a distress sale. Which brings me to the question people ask. Why are you selling a business that is making money?
I'll tell you why. Pre-COVID, let me give a real-time story for our landlords, right? Landlords are being bought out. Flats, the mass market flats that I mentioned about, they're being bought out left, right, and center by investors. So a landlord would come to Bank X with that income of 350k with a title deed because they want to bail wamemwaga mchanga lori wanataka kujenga hiyo ingine, si ndio? So they'll take the title deed for this existing one and give the bank and borrow. The security is the title deed and the rent. So your rent inakuja huko. There's something you sign called deed of rental assignment that hii rent yangu yote until I clear this loan itakuwa inakuja hapa, si ndio? Anapewa. Unamwaga mchanga kama hayuko disciplined, hii pesa amepewa ni cash. It's not like a purchase, they go buy for you, they pay for you. For this construction mortgages, you are giving cash. If you don't have discipline, zita slip through the fingers. Unapata hiyo project yako imefika 70%. Haijamalizika na ndo zimeisha. These guys gave you 100% of your limit. You can't go back. But then, after banks, who do we have katikati hapa?
Shylock.
Microfinance. Wacha Shylock kwanza. Microfinance. Their terms and conditions are more flexible than the bank. Unakuja naambia microfinance X ni aje? I have this flat, so I've charged it. Na nimelipa. Nishalipa imefika kama nusu. But I need 10K. I need 10M. Nimalize hii project mpya, alafu rent kapatia. Shylock ni sawa. Kuambia sawa. They'll give 10 million. Wataangalia hizi rent iko sawa. Title deed ni yako charged to housing finance sawa. They'll give you another 10 million. Maybe you'll give them a logbook or the title deed of the property you're building. Ni shamba tu unawapea title deed. Hii 10 million probably labda itamaliza. So now you're servicing 2 facilities compressed on one rental income, 350. Then COVID comes in. The rental income inashuka kidogo. So you're messed up. Even after COVID, post-COVID, you're now struggling to regain. You have a shell in Rongai. It's 80%. Ijamalizika, linto, nini, finishing bado. You have 2 loans. Ile, na hii hapa. Hata kizidi, utajipata kwa Shylock pia. Contractor amekusumbua. So now, at the back of your mind, you thought, this new building would have been fetching me 400,000 per month. Psychologically, right? But you must unlock it. Imekwama tu at a point of desperation. I need this 400. It's this close, but I can't touch it. Nikimaliza tu hii nyumba watu waingie, I'll make 400,000. So ulianzia kwa bank, ukajipata kwa microfinance. Who's next? Hey, I just need this little amount of money. Nimalizie nianza ku make 400,000. Shylock anakupea pia. Hata kunyima. Even by the time, God forbid, umalizie, if you're lucky enough umalizie, you not build the 400 at once, rather kujaza pole pole. It takes you a year or 2 years before you now have 2 solid incomes, 350 and 400. You think the Shylock will wait for you for 2 years? He's waiting and just praying. Final cost. The microfinance is waiting for the time. And that's why the market is flooded. And then you wonder, this guy is making 350 per month. Why is he being auctioned? Multiple borrowing is a major disease. That's why I said borrowing is good. Borrow if you must. Borrow wisely. Pay diligently.
Aya. So now, tumerusha mafigures hapa before we let you go. 35 million, 10 million. But majority of Kenyans wanachezea hapa chini. Now, of course, umetu-explain your multiplication, discipline and everything. What is your opinion? I think this is one of our favorite questions on this platform. On someone unlocking one level to the next. Kama wewe ulikuwa unalipwa 80,000 a month.
Unaanza 25K.
Ulianza 25?
Without commission. Without commission nilikuwa 25. Ndio kaza commission zikaanza kupanda.
Commission plus commission ndio inakuwa kuja so, si ndio? Okay, in sales it's very scalable.
Yeah.
Kwa sababu ya commissions na vile unajituma, right?
But for those with fixed income,
how do you unlock level ya kwanza kuplay na the big boys?
My story is different. My approach is different. You know, we limit ourselves. I'm a very patient person. Within a span of 12 years, the first 9 years, I had worked for 3 banks because I was running very fast. And I'll explain. Kingori comes back to the fear of the unknown. I'm not trying to, employers, please forgive me. I'm not trying to advocate for people jumping jobs and everything else. But the only way to grow your pay slip, if the pay slip is your only source of income, if you have the skill set, and the market is willing to pay a premium, Kingori, for your skill set,
take it to the next level.
Bro, go to the next level. Within the first 9 years, I'd worked for 3 banks. And guess what? The only CV I did was the first CV at high school, UCV. Because when you get a job, pick job ni kama kampuni ni yako. There's always someone watching. You might not go to them, but they're watching. 3 years, I'm done. I've given up. Nisha choka. I am no longer struggling to do what I do. I can even do it while sleeping. So what else do I need to do? I have a few guys in the industry. I'll just ask a simple question. Bro, Niaje, you're like the Messi or the Ronaldo of the industry. Real Madrid, do you want me? Like, I'm tired. In case there's something, I'm tired here. Wait, I'm tired. A call for help. Literally, ni kama kwa football, you want a transfer request. Come get me. And it has to be discipline na job yako umepiga vizuri kingori. Otherwise, I have friends who've worked for the same employer. Tulingia now to a 7. This is 2024. Wako pale. Loyal. They wamegrow. Both level-wise, salary-wise, wamegrow.
Level-wise unamaanisha kunona?
In terms of, okay. Kwanzia huko chini wamefika, middle level management, but there's a ceiling. When you're playing in the same league, under the same, HR atakuambia, maximum salary increment as per the HR policy is 25% of your current basic. Bro, if you have the skill set, you move into the next interview room, go show them what you can do with proven track record. Demand for double pay. Not demand, politely request for double pay and set goals. I did my first jump to the next bank and I went for a double. And I told them, I'm comfortable where I am, by the way. They love me because they know what I do. I need a double, but stretch my numbers. I like challenges. Stretch my numbers, give me a double. They told me, Sawa, condition for confirmation, you must deliver this. I didn't tell you, King, I did my degree for 7 years in KU. Do you know why? In between, I moved job 3 times. And every time I went in, I went with ambitious targets. I had to call off 2 semesters. So that ni focus. Nisikose. Then when I'm done, then I go back to KU. The last semester, on the 7th year, I was called by the dean of students. Akaniambia, your registration number is from the old system. If you cannot graduate this December, then whatever you've done is all gone to waste.
Zero.
Thank God, nilikuwa nimepass exams zangu zote, sikuwa na retakes, the normal missing marks, kuzitafuta haraka, squeeze yourself into the graduation, una graduate. So what I'm saying again, you can multiply. You must, the best way to multiply income as an employee kingori ni kupiga kazi. It's competition. Everything from the day you were born, you're competing for everything. Una compete. Client. That's the 8th thing. The only thing we haven't learned from 844, and I'm sad that 844 is going. We now have the CBC. I've had my first son is now in Form 1. From day one, you're competing. Don't tell me, out of 20 students in our stream, I am number 2. I'll ask you, in the 10 streams, uko number? Utajipata number 17. Are you happy? Angalia huko mtu number 1 huko number 17 huko amefanya nini? Because forget about the school. KCPE ikifika mna compete na the whole country. And we want you to be among the best. Therefore, don't just be comfortable. If I'm comfortable in our department, I just do basic. The child loves me. My boss loves me. I can always, hawezi nifuta. Some of us go to work to avoid being sacked. They love me. I do the bare minimum. This company can never sack me. Bro, you are one pay slip away. The day COVID comes, the day something comes and the company is laying off, so you've been average. You're among the first lot to be called into the boardroom. And you're among the first people who are likely to go into depression. Why? Because hujauza brand, bro. Hakuna mtu mwingine anakuja huko nje other than this guy is here. But I normally tell my employees, we piga job. Industry ni competition. There are people who will know you out there. Hata saizi nikuambia toka uende, you'll walk out with your head high. Because you know, those guys know I used to give them. Tukienda kwa project kwa ground hivi, ni mimi I was the one, nini walikuwa nawapatia stress. Tukienda hapa ni mimi nilikuwa napatia wase stress. So wakisikia niko available, niko na job.
So as in, technically, what you're saying is, from what you've said, if you want to win in life, operate like a spam.
Bro, baya. A million. Unajua ni moja itahit.
But
ni moja inaenda pale.
Always like, maintain.
Wewe jua kama ni moja itaingia ni mimi.
So some people lose or some people suffer because they stop being a spam.
I don't know your story, but they say every family has that one person who breaks the chain of poverty. I come from a humble background. Yeah. Come from, they normally say when you are below 20 years, ukisema humble background, you're pointing at your parents. They are the background, right? But after 20 years, you are the background. That's number 1. Number 2, if you really, in any family, normally there's this one person who breaks the chain of poverty. For me, I'm that guy. Yes, nilipata A, but I'm a dropout. Nilidrop out class 7. Nikaenda kufanya kazi ya kuchunga ng'ombe. Story for another day.
But sasa drop out alipataje A tena?
Mdosi wangu nilikuwa namchungia ng'ombe. Alirealize mimi nicho because I used to help the kids do the assignment na wanapita.
Yes.
Luckily enough, out of the 8 sons, one of them was my age mate in my same class. They only drop out to class 7. Sasa
akaniambia your story. Lynn, please, sorry for putting you on the spot. I think this is a story you would be interested in.
Lynn
Ngugi. I think this is a story you would be interested in. Shout out. Kwanza lazima nimsende hii as soon as it comes.
Hello, Lynn.
Junajua tukianza hii story
hatuwezi
maliza, but I think you've given
the mentality Kingori as I wind up is always compete. To marry the best wife, you love to compete among other men. To live the best life, you love to compete. If you're in employment, you'll compete for the top spot. You open a company, you'll have to compete. There are people who probably went in earlier than me. There are people who I have trained. There are people who have sat in interviews and employed either in banking or in properties, but they were sharp enough. Probably they had a good background, wakapatiwa capital, wakaanza, or they were sharper, wakaanza, and they're doing very well. We meet and talk as peers, but we are peers, but we are competitors.
I think umequalify statement fulani yenye tulidebate nayo, a very controversial statement. I believe that was said on this show. Yeah, you are where you are because of you. It is your fault that you are going through what you're going through.
Don't blame the government. We know it has its faults, but there are people who we make lemonade out of lime. Sindio? Unatupia mawe unajenga. There are people I talked within the industry. Kingoli, I know people who are doing way better now after COVID with the current government shenanigans, but they're doing better in business than they were. There are people who even changed employments because they realized, with this current trend, I must step away from going into poverty. They've even switched jobs and they're doing well. So the question is, would you sit down and blame what everybody is blaming, or can you do something about it? Kenya is still a budding economy. There are opportunities. And that's why today it hurts me, or it pains me, that the government officials can sit down and tell people that we've gone to Middle East and we've negotiated for a package to take 250,000 of us out there. Kingorio, I have one of my classmates in high school who went to China. Alisomea walimu Kiswahili languages. He went to China and his work is very simple. He is teaching Chinese Kiswahili so that they can come
to Kenya.
Because they know this is the land of opportunities. This is the land of opportunities. They are coming. Ukienda airport, I know the chairman of Chinese Association of Developers. Those guys are registering at their embassy every month. Then you want to tell me you will take 250 of us wapeleka washe dishes Dubai. Bro, so wacha hapa mnipatie ni opportunity ni grow branch A, branch B, branch C. Ni walete tu hata kama watafanya sales za kila mtu. Wasikuweza sales wajaribu hata kama watakuwa na shoot product content creation yao ya properties. Nikitembea nikionyesha properties on a shoot. There are opportunities here. But again, you need to be aware and alive to the fact that kuna competition. Nobody will come to your house and tell you Kingori, usipelekwe na gavama juu, kuja kuna kazi hapa. You need to be alert and aware and go for it. Na ukipatiwa chance, please anguka nayo. We have a problem with our Gen Zs. Very good. They're outspoken. I have employed some of them. Kitambo, when you were employed, the employer used to give you terms of engagement. What time you need to come to work, what time you need to go home, your leave days, and everything. Nowadays, the ball may change, bro.
Really, this production.
Hey, boss, Jenzi anakuja na kuambia, boss, never call me when it's not working out. When I go on leave, do not email me. Do not. Sasa ni wewe sign terms of engagement.
Imagine, I think labda juu mimi ni open-minded. This production is 70% Gen Z. This production is 70%.
Very productive.
Matata.
That's what I normally tell my friends is it's another thing altogether. Things have changed. You cannot use the same hardcore approach with these people and expect to get results. Kama umse si early bird, usimlazimisha kwe early. When the early bird sawa, just find out how can I get the best out of them with their timing.
Unajua, boys wetu who edit this show, hautamwamsha before saa 5. Hata sisumbuanangi. but akikaa chini kufanya job
2-3 hours maximum output.
No, hata hawezi lala. Lakini yeye mali amelala usimwamshe.
Bas.
But utaamka by.
HR anasema aje, you must report at 8 and leave at 5.
Hakuna.
Hiyo ilisha.
Hakuna. Ilumaze, that is pure good vibes.
Thank you.
This has been one of the most interesting conversations, and so interesting that I hate that lazima tufunge.
Sir, I'm always available. I'm a call away.
Lynn, hiyo story ya kuchunga ng'ombe drop out nini iko na nyama poa sana ya inspiration. Alafu iko na ile yako ya rebuild nini. Check this out.
Thank you.
Now I think wale watu wanataka ku link up na wewe, we are leaving contacts Zaidu hapa chini kwa description ya hii video so that you can get in touch. Nimenotice wale mangest wanachachisha pia sana, ndio mtu asiulize how to reach out. Contact Zaidu ziko hapa kwa description ya hii video, na pia nitawekea kwa pinned comment.
Yeah, follow pia social media zetu at Future Home Properties, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, tuko hapo.
Good vibes.
Thank you.